who would consider leaving everything behind on Earth and going to Mars? Well, Charles has already indicated that more than 200,000 people applied to go on our mission. And that's a lot of people. 200,000 people from more than 100 different countries applied. So who are these people? Are they suicidal? Do they want to go to Mars because they don't like Earth enough? Well, that's not the kind of people we're looking for, and that's actually not the kind of people that applied. Well, they applied too, but don't underestimate the drive of people to explore. Why? Why am I organizing a mission to Mars? Why should humans go to Mars? Well, let's look back at the Apollo project, the moon project that the US did in the 60s and 70s. And let's remember the inspiration that came from that project. There were more people applying for PhDs after the moon landing than before, because people suddenly saw a reason to educate themselves, saw a reason to be part of something so exciting. And that inspiration, that is, I think, the most important thing that Mars One can accomplish. Children will want to be astronauts again instead of pop stars. People will want to learn new skills because they can see the application of the skills for something so important. And from the Apollo landings, a lot of good things came from it. More PhDs, a lot of technology was developed more quickly because of the moon landings. But I believe that the most important thing that came from the moon landings, and since you are in the broadcasting industry, you might like this, is actually the images. All of us have seen the images of Neil Armstrong walking around on the moon, of the buggy driving around on the moon, of the Earth rising over the horizon of the moon so many times. And that's something that sticks with you because it is really pushing the boundaries. Exploration is what humans do, and we will go to Mars. Whether Mars One succeeds or a different organization is going to do this, we will go to Mars. I actually started Mars One when I found the revenue numbers for the Olympic Games. I always knew that this was technically possible as long as you do a permanent settlement mission, but I could never figure out how to finance this. And then I found that the Olympic Games in London had revenues of more than $4 billion from broadcasting rights and sponsorships. $4 billion for the Olympic Games. And the Olympic Games are just 3 weeks. And there's a lot of things happening before that, of course. The partners all pay those kinds of fees for the full years of the Olympic cycle. But most of the exposure, of course, is in the 3 weeks of broadcasting. That's more than $1 billion per week of value for that content. Because basically the only thing that the Olympic Games are selling is content. And now imagine, you guys are all in this business, now imagine having the most exclusive content in, I shouldn't say the world, I should say the solar system. You have the content of humans walking around on Mars. What do you think the value of that is? And I often compare it to a skiing trip. Strange comparison maybe, but I think it's something that you all can imagine, so I really hope that you will join me in this mental exercise. Imagine you're on a skiing trip with your 3 best friends, your very best friends in the world. Imagine who are they? And now on the last day of the trip, you're there for a week, on the last day of the trip you get snowed in. And you call, well, maybe you guys, most of you are executive management, so maybe, usually I say, you call your boss and you say, well, sorry, I can't come to the office. Maybe that's not very applicable here, but you're stuck there with your 3 best friends, and maybe you like it, because you had to go back to work and it's busy at the office. So you drink a couple of beers with your friends, you're stuck, you can't go anywhere. But then 3 days later, you're still snowed in, and you're starting to get annoyed a little bit. And a week later, you're still snowed in. And a month later, you're still snowed in. Are these people still your best friends? I think in most cases, the answer would be no. And I think 3 months into this exercise, nobody wants to visit you guys anymore. So it's our challenge to find 4 people who can be stuck with each other for 3 years before the second crew joins them. And that's our biggest challenge. That's our challenge in making this happen. Humans are not native to Nevada. If we would take away all our technology, cars, housing, clothing is technology, don't forget, fire. If we would take away all the technology, I don't think that many of us would survive a week or a month, let alone a year. And then Nevada is not the worst place in the planet, right? There's people living in the north of Canada. We need technology to survive in most places here on Earth, and we will need technology to survive on Mars. But that technology is there. We have that technology available. And humans have always gone everywhere, wherever technology allows them to go.